Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So, the Lucid Nightmare, the mount that we did not really know how to get, but we did know that it was some sort of secret. What I didn't really think we anticipated was how challenging it would end up being. Since the launch of patch 7.3, the WoW Secrets Discord group have been trying to crack the puzzle behind the Lucid Nightmare mount, and last night they succeeded. Now, in the past, with the Riddler's Mindworm, getting the mount for the most part was a simple enough case of just following some instructions. Not this time though. This is going to be quite hard due to the final stage of the puzzle. It's a massive step up over most of the in-game challenges that we've seen from a problem-solving point of view in the past with these, and honestly, it's really satisfying once you get through it. But before we get to all that, well, we've got to actually begin our journey, and we're going to do that in Dalaran. So, head to Curiosities and Moor, which is located in the southern building of the central complex of Dalaran. Then climb up the stairs and take a look at the table. There will be a scroll on it. Simply click on that scroll, and a message will appear which says, "It began with 210-4059. With the most pleasing sign, these letters will not always rhyme." That is a string of numbers that's an anagram for 4/15/2009, which is the release date of Ulduar. So, off to Ulduar with us. Once you're in the Storm Peaks, enter the raid, talk to Bran Bronzebeard, and get things started with the raid. Then head on past Flame Leviathan, kill him, head to XT's room, kill him as well. And if you look closely, you will see that something new has been added. There is a lever, so pull the lever and you'll be presented with a grid of nodes on the floor. Now, the solution here is to create a gear shape with them, as the gear is the symbol of Mimiron. Doing this is slightly time consuming, but the simple solution is just to follow this brilliant image from the Discord. The black one should be activated if you're following the image. Now, once this is done, a note will appear in the middle of the room. Read that for the next clue, and that reads, 1,000 years imprisoned, surely it wears on the mind. So, this is pointing to Cthulhu, and we're going to be heading over to Anchorage 40. When you're there, you basically just need to clear through the instance, including the killing of Cthulhu, and when you get past that, at the very final room of the raid, there will be a grub on the altar. Click on that and you'll be presented with Bejeweled, because why not? Simply play Bejeweled for a while and eventually you'll get on to the next step. And that step is Deeper Than Deep awaits your seat. So, Deepholm then, but I want you to save some time. Originally, people went to Deepholm only to find a clue leading them to the Barrens, so that you could see an NPC who was wearing a specific hat, which hinted that you needed to wear that hat to complete the full step in Deepholm. That's quite a lot of travel, but all you really need to know here is that you should either craft or purchase a Shadow Weave mask. The pattern was added back into the game in patch 7.3, and it does drop off Searing Gorge Dark Iron NPCs, but the mats are quite expensive. But anyway, pop on your helm, head to Deepholm, and then enter the cave at the supplied coordinates. Once you're inside, just run around the first ring, past the patrolling worm, don't get eaten by the worm, it's a big waste of time, and then enter the next chamber. When you're in there, you'll find a clickable crack on the ground. Click on that and you'll enter the ravine, and once you're inside there, a chair will be there, and the chair has a skull on it with a little plaque in the back of the chair, which was originally the hint for getting the helm that you should be wearing. So, yeah, put on your Shadow Weave mask and click on the skull. So, assuming you have your Shadow Weave mask equipped, you'll be able to click on the skull, which will reveal the next note, and that note reads, "Where the Shadow Delegate may appear." Okay, so you're going to need to go to Gnomeregan here. Now, that's a little bit annoying once you're inside the instance. You just want to go to where my character is now. With this instance, I figure maps are not that useful, so it's probably easier just to watch what my character is doing and follow along. Once you reach the location that I'm at, you'll see a number of gnomish computers. So there was a binary clue for this, where the lines of binary referred to a number of pet battle abilities, then a hint to do a reversal on them, and then finally a hint to add one to all of them, which gives us our final number, which is on the screen, and you just want to input that into the machines. You do this by basically pulling the lever either up or down on the machine, little dialog box. And once that's all done though, a new note will appear, which gives us another clue. Games and toys are left behind when you awaken screaming. So, with Nomergon done, it is time to fire up your Hearthstone and make your way to Val-Shara. Then go to the supplied location and enter the Corrupted House. Inside there, you will find a clickable object that carries, or causes, a puzzle to spawn in front of you. Now, this is actually quite a nifty little puzzle. Essentially, intersecting lines are red, non-intersecting lines are blue. You want to make all the lines blue. So, you need to do this by swapping the locations of the red orbs to make it so that there are no intersecting lines. And the ideal way to do this is to split the initial jumbled mess into separate, neat groups. It might take a little minute or two to get the hang of how the links operate, but just click around, you should be fine. And once that is solved, a final note will appear with our last clue. What you see is buried within. So, you're going to head to the coordinates in Kunlai Summit, and you're going to enter the Mogu Ruins, and in there you will find a urn underneath a large statue. And this is where shit gets serious, and this is where you need to do the heavy lifting. So, you'll be dropped into a room, and you'll see doorways to the north, south, east, and west. However, up to 2 of these can be blocked by piles of rubble. When you go through one door, you will then enter an identical room that may have a different configuration of rubble. Basically, what you're in is a maze where every room looks identical, and things only get harder because the maze is not a fixed grid. First, it's random for everyone, I believe, on a daily basis. Second, I think it's about like an 18 by 18 grid from what I read, and the sides loop. So if you reach one edge, you'll just keep on going over to the other one, a little bit like crossing the game board in Pac-Man or Asteroids. Now, inside this maze, there are 5 colored rune stones and then corresponding colored orbs. Clicking on an orb makes your character the color of that orb, and it allows you to click on the corresponding rune, and you win when you've clicked on all 5 runes. Now, this basically is a challenge for your problem-solving memory and like spatial skills. It's really easy to get lost here, and even a single mistake can really throw you off. The layout of the maze, the runes, and the orbs is all random, so you may get lucky and have it easy, or you might get unlucky and have a far harder setup to contend with. Now, the general way to get through this is to make a map. Now, I did that on paper. You can see how the maps operate here. I sort of note which direction I went, and then in the room that I, enter or leave, which ones are blocked by, or which entrances and exits are blocked by rubble. This means that I've got a relational connection between all of them, so I can always backtrack. One problem that I ran into is that it doesn't feel like a perfect grid to navigate. Either they are conceptually kind of like on different floors, like having segments be connected, they may be at random, or there's like the wraparound grid. It could just be that was more confusing than I imagined. Like if it was a simple 20 by 20 grid, you just make your way across it methodically and solve the challenge, but that wasn't really the case here. As an example, there are times where it is possible to make 4 right-hand turns, even though you are turning into a wall that should be blocked off by rubble. This is why I chose to make my route tracking focused on the kind of relationship between the rooms, rather than trying to make a 20 by 20 grid or anything like that. So I linked my rooms together, and eventually I found every orb and rune location. It took me quite a while, and if you look at my map, you can see there's a few elements that do appear multiple times. That's because it's not a perfect geographical map. It's more a map of me tracking my route and the relationships between the rooms. Now, I found this to be an entirely foolproof concept. Okay, it was a little bit time consuming, but once I knew what I wanted to do, it was actually quite easy. It just, as I said, was a bit time consuming and also kind of anxiety inducing, because if you fuck up once, you're really screwed. So as far as tips go, don't solve any runes until you've located all of the runes and orbs. Solving a rune will cause the corresponding rune and orbs to disappear. You don't want that to happen, because these runes and orbs are essential in sort of mapping it out and getting reference points. Now, I did my map on paper, and I found oddities such as like the grid seeming to fold in on itself, and that sort of made charting my progress a little bit confusing. The way that I got around that is I'd basically denote stuff with a marker on another page. So if, say, the room is going to fold in on itself, instead of basically I'd like say put a little symbol down, like diamond 1 and diamond 2 are ones that I would use, then I'd just on another bit of my paper put the diamond there, and I just continue the path on. That was a way of dealing with the fact that it was all a bit jarbled in terms of the overall layout. But eventually you will have a foolproof map. You will have located all the orbs and all the rooms. This could take 2 hours, could take 3 hours. Then you just want to consider what is the best order to go through them all in terms of time, and then just go through them. Once you're done, you'll be teleported out of the maze. You'll have a note in front of you. You want to click on that, and now's probably time to break out the whiskey, because there's a fair chance that you might need it. But good news is, you've won. To claim your prize, just head to the Karzan Catacombs. Inside there, you will find that a new room will have opened up for you, and if all went to plan, you'll be able to head in there and pick up, or open, the chest containing the Lucid Nightmare mount. And you're done. Congratulations. This was easily one of my favorite sort of little things in Legion, along with Chromie. I really like it when the developers sort of do a problem-solving task as a side activity. I found this one to be really, really challenging and rewarding as well, which is great because it's something that I will remember a lot more than just doing a few world quests. But that's it for the video. Really, the best I can do is wish you good luck. You'll probably need it. Just really do pay attention to your maps. Be super diligent with those. As long as you do that, you should be okay. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.